Now, there are some climate activists who, after the Paris Agreement was signed, said, this is not enough. But they're not in a conversation, apparently, with Prime Minister Modi of India. For example, who's thinking, I've still got several 100 million people without electricity. And I have some obligation to try to relieve them of their poverty and suffering. So I've got to balance those equities against the imperatives of the planet as a whole. Now, the good news is that most of the groups that have been involved in this process have been pretty sophisticated. But that's a general principle that I think all of you should consider. Make noise and occasionally you can act a little crazy to get attention. To shine a spotlight on the issue, to highlight it. But once people who are in power and in a position to actually do something about it are prepared to meet and listen with you, do your homework, be prepared, present a plausible set of actions. And negotiate and be prepared to move the ball down the field even if it doesn't get all the way there. All right? Question, do I have permission to act a little bit crazy? President Obama, no. You do, but it wouldn't be fair if you just start yelling out a question and, because it's a guy's turn also. All right, go ahead. Question, thank you, President, firstly, for all you did for the world and for mankind. I think you made a great contribution and you inspire a lot of young people across the world. But my question is slightly on East Africa, since you said you can see an equation. Just last week, 400 young boys died in the Mediterranean Sea in trying to seek a better life. Most left in Somalia. And those young boys have lost their livelihoods. Since there is international ships coming to the Somali territorial water. And those ships have been trying to protect the international ships from the piracy. But at the same time they have been doing it. There has been a lot of proven cases that they have been dumped as waste in the Somali Sea. And also there is proven cases within the coast cities that children are dying with very strange diseases that they've never seen. That these things are coming to the coast came out from the C.3. So today I have the opportunity to ask you, while you're here for the next 8 or 9 months that you have. Can you kindly use your leverage within the international arena to galvanize the international community to look at this issue? And can you share some practical steps that you can take to ensure President Obama? Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm not fully familiar with some of the issues you referred to. I'm certainly familiar with the challenges that Somalia has been going through. And we've been working aggressively to try to help Mogadishu develop a functioning state that can protect its people and that can get an economy moving that gives young people opportunity. I'm certainly familiar with the issues of piracy and the international concerns that led to many of these ships patrolling these areas. I'm less familiar with some of the issues that you discussed. So what I'll do is, after this meeting, as we're shaking hands, I'll try to get some additional information from you. One of the things I've learned as president is, although you can always fake your way through an answer, sometimes it's really good just to say, you know what, I don't know all the answers on this one. All right. See, now since you've raised your hand and you didn't continue to act crazy, I'm going to go ahead and call on you. Go ahead. Question. President Obama, that's okay. Question, I got overwhelmed. President Obama, you got excited. Question. President Obama, that's okay. Question. I've been working for the last 9 months with the UK Civil Service Fast Stream with Julianne Smith in order to do what I can. Even though I'm still at university and running for local election at the same time. I managed to get them to respect pronouns. I've managed to get them to commit to gender-neutral toilets. And these are things I've done as a student. And I really wish that yourself and David Cameron would take us seriously as transgender people. And perhaps you could elucidate as to what you can do to go beyond what has been accepted as the LGBTQ rights movement. In including people who fit outside the social norms. President Obama, first of all, that wasn't that crazy. I thought you were going to ask to come up here and dance with me or something. But, look, I'm incredibly proud of the steps it sounds like you've already taken to speak. Out about your own experience and then to try to create a social movement and change laws. It sounds to me like you're on the right track. I can't speak for David Cameron, although I will say that on LGBT issues, I think David has been ahead of the curve relative to a lot of other leaders around the world and even here in the UK. I can say from my perspective that we're taking a lot of serious steps to address these issues within the federal government. The challenge we've had is North Carolina, the law that comes up, for example, that's a state law. And because of our system of government, I can't overturn on my own state laws. Unless a federal law is passed that prohibits states from doing these things. And with the Congress I currently have, that's not likely to happen. But we're doing a lot of work administratively. And as I said, you should feel encouraged just by virtue of the fact that I think. Social attitudes on this issue have changed faster than I've seen on any other issue. It doesn't feel fast enough for you or for those who are impacted. And that's good, you shouldn't feel satisfied. You should keep pushing. But I think the trend lines are good on this. We're moving in the right direction and in part. Because of a courageous act of young people like yourself. So stick with it. All right. Let's see. Gentleman in the green here. Question. President Obama, I think it's a great question. It's something that I wrestle with. I would distinguish between compromising on principles and compromising in getting things done in the here and now. And what I mean by that is I am uncompromising on the notion that every person, regardless of race, religion, sexual orientation, ethnicity, has a dignity and worth and have to be treated equally. So I'm uncompromising in that basic principle. And I'm also of the belief that in order to realize the principle, every child has to have true opportunity. That every child is deserving of a decent education, and decent health care. And the ability to go to college so that they can make of themselves what they will. So that's a powerful principle in me. That drives my politics. But if I'm sitting with Congress, and I have the opportunity to get 500,000 more kids, into an early childhood education program, even though I know that that will 2 million who need it out of the program. But the alternative is none. I'll take 500,000, right? And I can look at myself in the mirror and feel good about the 500,000 that I'm helping. Knowing that the next round of budget negotiations that we have, I'm going to go for another 500,000, and I'm going to go for another 500,000 after that. So I think it's important for everyone to understand that you'd have to be principled. You have to have a North Star, a moral compass. There should be a reason for you getting involved in social issues other than vanity. Or just trying to mix and mingle and meet cute people that you're interested in, although that's not a bad reason. And you are absolutely right that we are in this age now partly because of what's happened with our media. In which people from different political parties, different political orientations can spend the bulk of their day only talking to. And listening to, and hearing the perspectives of people who already agree with them. I know less about the UK media, but in the United States, it used to be we had 3 television stations. And people might complain about the dominance of these 3 television stations. But there was one virtue to them, which was everybody was kind of watching the same thing and had the same understanding of what the facts were on any given issue. And today, you have 500 television stations. And the internet will give you 1,000 different sources of information. And so what's increasingly happening in the United States is that if you're a conservative, then you're watching Fox News or you're reading a conservative blog post. If you're a liberal, then you're reading the Huffington Post or reading the New York Times. And there's this massive divergence that's taking place in terms of just what the agreed upon facts and assumptions are that we're talking about. And that does make it harder to compromise. And there have been some interesting studies that have been done showing that if you spend time with people who just agree with you on any particular issue, that you become even more extreme in your convictions because you're never contradicted and everybody just mutually reinforces their perspective.